Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Emerald the Quilter. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season, spent time with family and friends. I know I did a little bit of traveling and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you at the end of this video, so make sure that you watch to the end. As you know, or if you're just joining me, I have been making very slowly, but I'm getting there, all of the quilts from the Perfect 5 Quilts book by It's So Emma. And I'm so excited to finally whip out this Rise and Shine fabric that I've been holding on to for a couple months now. And we are now working on the Snickerdoodle Quilt. This is what it looks like. It is actually the quilt that is featured on the cover of this book. And then that fabric is an old fig tree. I think it's called Scarlet and Sage, used to be one of my favorites. This is a pretty, very pretty quilt. And so I wanted to pick some very pretty fabric to go with it. I have 3 of these charm packs, and they tend to all be in like the pinks and blues, pretty typical for Ruby Star Society. And what we're gonna do to start off is just open them. So we're gonna take a look and audition these. I already have my fabric, background fabric cut out. I wanna make sure that whatever fabric charms I pick from here, they don't get lost in the background. And so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We will need 100 charm squares. So if you have charm packs, great. If you're gonna cut out your own charms, perfect. Let's get started. This particular fabric collection is designed by Melody Miller. I may have used some of her fabrics before, I'm not quite sure, but just about anything that comes from Ruby Star Society is beautiful. So there's like 2 of these that come from like a panel print. Definitely want to use those. This is a little bit on the lighter end. 2 of these, I'm just going to set it off to the side. And then here's what my background fabric looks like. It's one of those, I can't remember. It's like the kind that's always in stock. So, you know, they're always in inventory for the most part. I've seen this for quite a while, and it goes with almost anything that's Ruby Star Society. Kind of like a grunge, you know, or a solid. You can go to the quilt shop or you can go online and you can almost always find it. So it's readily available. And I like that background because it has those little stars. And then, although this one doesn't have stars, see, that's really, there's like a cloud on there. There are some suns on here, so this is really pretty. Definitely want to keep that. Here are those beautiful suns. Anything that's bright, saturated, full of color, I'm keeping. It's the panels and then what's meant to be the background fabric out of this collection that I have to be careful of. So some waves, some flowers, orange. Beautiful. It's kind of like, if you've ever watched those videos on Facebook where someone like drops paint and then they move the canvas so that it moves around. So these I'm just definitely taking out, and there's 3 right there. So sun, more of those swirls. There's a lot of these swirls, so I may want to take some of those out. That is a background fabric for sure, so we will not be using that. This, as much as I love this sun, it is too pale. It will definitely get lost or blend in a little bit too much along this. So it looks to be a little bit more contrasting as I'm looking at the screen right there, but in person, I'm telling you, it really just does not look as great as if I would just leave it out. So I'm leaving those out. This is pretty light as well. I think I'm gonna leave that out. Love these little pink with little white flowers on them. Here. Okay. Blue. More blue with flowers. More of that like paint flowy look. This is light, but the blue is a heavier blue than that little peach one was, so I'm definitely keeping that. 2 of these, which is great. Okay, and then there's 1 of each of these. These are nice teals or turquoise, whatever you want to call them, with some green. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got, you know, these already selected. I know that I need 100 total, so I'm going to spend some time considering, you know, obviously these are the ones that I'm going to take out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. May want to take out 1 or 2 more and then leave myself some wiggle room. But I'm going to do that all off camera because our next step is to cut into 2 large rectangles. So follow the instructions in the book, and then once you're done, we'll come back and we'll have our A units ready to go. Make sure that you have all of your background pieces cut out as well. Those are going to be your B units, and hold on, I'm just checking the pattern, and C units. So we want to have all of that ready while I just consider which ones I'm taking out. I've got the units cut and organized, so all my A's here are in the center, B's, C's, and then these strips here are for sashing and border. And if you haven't cut your background fabrics already, I think what I wish I would have done, I know I wish I would have done, is cut just a continuous long border before I had cut this. However, I think when I purchased the fabric, I didn't keep that in mind to like make sure that I would have enough. Sometimes you need to order a little bit more. I'm not so sure. I didn't do the math. So anyways, I'm gonna have borders with seams, but there's not a huge motif on here, so it's okay. You know, not a big deal. And this is gonna be a fairly large quilt. It's 56.5 inches squared, so it's not gonna be noticeable per se. But what you're going to do is take your A rectangles, and I will show you how to sew this. But I just want to, you know, give you a little bit of idea right now. Okay, A rectangles, and then your C squares, and you're gonna, if you have to draw lines, draw the lines, but I use diagonal seam tape. And you're going to just sew down like this. And you want to make sure that you have the right direction and sew in the same direction for every single unit, because you don't want something to end up facing the wrong way. Even though it looks the same, it really would not be. And then you'll sew these 2 together. So you'll have something that looks like that, okay? And we're gonna take all this right now and we'll get started and we'll sew it together on our sewing machines. I've got my sewing machine set up with some diagonal seam tape, and worth every dollar. I've had this for years. I think I spent, I don't know, maybe 10 bucks on it. And it just saves you hours of having to draw lines. And I've sewn a few already, made some mistakes already, so let me show you where I'm at and what to be careful with. So when you make your units, so I have it facing me just to make sure I'm looking at my book, which is to my left, and now facing you, this is what it should look like, okay? You will have these half square triangles to cut out, and I'm gonna cut those out with the ruler and rotary cutters so that I can make those into something else. And so you want to have your background triangle on your left side facing down. And what I did in my mistake was I started sewing them with the triangle facing down towards the right. So that is wrong. I will have to take those apart, but now you know what not to do, right? So I've got my example right here, and that means that as I'm sewing, I will always sew from the top right down, facing me, with this remainder of Unit A up. So that's how I'm going to remember. And I've got my stitch length set to 1.85, and I'm on a roll. So over my break, I flew to Montevideo, Uruguay. Uruguay is the country that's sandwiched in between Brazil and Argentina. And that is where my dad is from. So I'm mixed, half Uruguayan and half Mexican on my mom's side. And I've been to Mexico a few times. I still have not been to where she's from. But because I have family that lives in Montevideo, I really wanted to go. And I've been wanting to go for like over a decade. So I flew out and had the time of my life. I stayed with my aunt and my uncle, and we went to so many museums, and we ate lots of food. We took the bus almost everywhere because that city, Montevideo, is like 300 years old, and it was not designed for cars. Cars didn't exist yet. So the streets are a little bit more narrow. They were designed for horses and for walking, and so people do a lot of walking there. And most of the population, at least from what I saw, was in fantastic shape. So we did a lot of walking. We rode the bus quite a bit, and I'm just making sure that I have this facing the right way. And something that I really loved is that it is so easy to eat whole foods there. Here, if you're hungry and you don't feel like cooking, you don't feel like microwaving something, you will most likely go out to eat or order food. And your options for ordering food is like fast food for the most part. I mean, here there's, as soon as I leave my neighborhood, there is a Panda Express, a McDonald's, a Wendy's, and Taco Bell. And that's just like all within a couple blocks. So over there, if you want to eat and you don't feel like cooking, it is very easy to walk around the corner, even from your house, because my aunt has the best pizzeria that I have ever tasted pizza from. And you eat homemade whole foods at those places. So one example was we had what's called a parrilla, and a parrilla is like a big old plate, a hot plate of various cooked meats. So for like $15, we could get a ginormous plate of 2 pieces of chicken, blood sausage, beef, pork, intestines, and just like all grilled, all delicious in this brick oven that they all have. And your sides, which are some kind of vegetable. So it's very easy to eat healthy there. And we went out almost every single day because we were doing so much. And like a plate of meat for 2, it's like $15. Whereas over here, you have to go to like a steakhouse or churrascaria to get that kind of food. And, not over there. They have a huge cattle industry. They export a lot of their meat. So I love the food there. And one of my favorite places that we went to was, hold on, I'm just doing a quick check again because I tend to make mistakes. Hold on. So this way. Okay, that means I have to sew here. Okay, looks like I may have made a mistake or so. Let me just check. Looks like I did make a few in there, but that's okay because I'm sewing a few extra. I'll have enough to show you. Okay, I will have enough. Okay, hold on. This is the most confusing part about this about making this quilt block. Just making sure it all faces the right way. Okay, I have to remind myself that the A is to the left. So I'm gonna leave this here because you may have even seen and be like, oh no, she's sewing wrong. If only you could scream at me while I was showing from this, from the computer, your phone, or wherever you're watching me from, right? Anyways, so we went to quite a bit of museums, and my favorite places that we visit, we took a tour bus to, also very affordable. I think I spent $40 for a round trip for the both of us, both times. So one day we went to Colonia, and another day we went to Punta del Este, and Colonia is on Rio de la Plata, and it's a little bit more into the country, and it is absolutely beautiful because when that city was built, it was built with a lookout, a lighthouse on it, and so I got to climb up to the top, which was quite a workout because it was very narrow and very tall, but it was really beautiful. And they have like a lot of artisan stands there that you can buy souvenirs from. And then in Punta del Este, that's further east, a little bit more up north, and that is actual ocean. So it's on the coast, and it is beautiful. Oh my gosh. The waves, though, the waves are scary. So the waves, they can like break your bones if you are not in shape, which I am not in best shape. And so I had to be very careful. They had flags there to mark the currents. And there's even a sculpture of fingers that's like this out of the sand. And that sculpture, as pretty as it is actually a warning to beachgoers that a lot of drownings happen there. And so I was very careful, and we just spent the day at the beach for a few hours and walked around. And let me tell you, if you like going to the beach, you like Miami, you like, you know, the Atlantic coast, you will love Punta del Este. So Punta del Este is more beautiful than Miami. It is cleaner, it is more spacious, it has better food. I mean, unless you like Cuban food, which I like Cuban food. But in my opinion, it was more beautiful than Miami, and it was just so much more relaxing. And there's a lot to do. So those are my two favorite places that we visited. And I'll show some pictures. But I really did have a wonderful time getting to know a little bit of the country. I was there like about 10 days if you like consider the time it takes to fly there. On my way there, I think it was like, I don't know, 14 hours or 16 hours. And then on the way back, because there was the flights were a little bit more limited, I think it was like 21 plus, you know, the maintenance of the airplane and late takeoff and all that. But totally worth it, every penny, and it was the trip of a lifetime. It really was. Either this piece is cut incorrectly or this one, so I'm just going to try a different. Okay. And so I had a lot of fun. It was really nice to spend time with family that I'm friends with on Facebook, but didn't really know in person. And so getting to meet them and going to their home, that was a lovely experience. Okay, so it looks like I'm gonna have enough variety to show you a block or two, okay? And the ones that are cut incorrectly, I'm gonna take them off and I'll show them to you so that you don't make the same mistake that I did. And if you can hear that noise, I am right next to the window, and there's like a wind storm or something. Okay, so this one is facing the right way. All the ones that are facing the right way, I'm just going to put right there. And the ones that I have to unstitch are just going to go off to the side, and I'll save them for later. That looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Okay. And because I spent a long time on the airplane and quite a bit of time at the airport, I was prepared and I had my cross stitch with me. So I'll share some pictures of my cross stitch that I worked on. The cross stitch that I took was like an animal ABCs pattern with these cute little animals in boxes that I made for my son. And I've already dropped off at the framers because that took me a long time. I'm not, you know, I am gonna get that, I'm getting that one professionally done without any glass so that the texture can really shine. And this one is incorrect, so I'm setting that one off to the side. Well, I'm happy that almost all of these came out correct. Except for that one and this one. Okay. It's just like as soon as I said something, there's like, nope, they're wrong. These are right, thank goodness. Okay, so I definitely have enough here. And I've got all these that I still need to make, right? So what you'll do, if you want to just cut them off, cool, you can just cut them off, eyeball it. But if you want to save these for later, like I have been saving, and I will show you my half square triangle bucket that I've accumulated these little pieces over years now. One day I will be able to make something large with them if I don't break them up into their little fabric collections already. So cut them off and then we'll meet back. So these units have been cut. I just set aside the half square triangles and my little mess ups, well, the ones that are correct, they're going off to the side. And the reason is because you need a pair of the exact same fabric if you want to follow the style of the pattern itself. And what I mean by that is you need two of these, okay? You need a pair. So I'm going to sew them. This is what it looks like facing me, and this is what it should look like facing you. Okay, so you have this point at your top left, and I'm going to just set aside my pairs like this so that then I have some options to work with. You need 4 sets of this unit, this completed unit that you'll be making. Here we go. And just gonna turn this way and begin sewing. I recommend that you sew on the end without any seams on it so that you don't get any like bunches underneath your feed dogs and your foot. Make sure that you sew the correct side. All right. Now we're going to press these down, okay? So it will look like this. Isn't that so cute? Love it. And just gonna do that to all of these real quick. You could iron them, but finger pressing with this is just fine because there's not too many seams. Oh, and then something really fun while I was in Montevideo, Uruguay, was that on my very first day there, my aunt had this entire plan ready to go. She took me to all of the fabric shops, and I had so much fun looking at different fabrics because most of the fabrics that they have there are actually for like clothing. People sew a lot of clothing for formal events, and they don't really have a lot of cotton. And the cotton that they do have is usually for like men's shirts. Okay, and let's see, I don't want two of these florals, so I'm going to pick a different pink. Okay, so here we go. This looks really cute. And the fabric shop that had the most fabric was Casa de las Telas, House of Fabric. And when I was like, can I just buy a little piece? Everyone at every single store gave me a very confused and annoyed look because there, they don't do patchwork. They don't sell books. And in this one shop that I found the cutest little stuffed animal that I was like, oh, I'll make that for my son. You could only get not even like a written pattern, but the silhouette of the pieces to make that bunny or bear or whatever it was if you attended the class. And it's like, oh, well, I mean, I know how to do it. I just need the paper. And no, they would not even sell me the silhouette, the shapes. So that was quite interesting. But the fabrics that they have there for formal events are gorgeous. And I'll share some pictures of their fabrics that they have. I did find a couple different fabrics. So one was like a shirtings for a man, and I got it in blue, and I figured, well, I can make my son like a little top, button down something. And then the other was just this beautiful blue with white floral, and I don't know what I'm gonna make with it. I bought a meter of it because everything there is sold in meters and not yards, and so I'll figure something out for that. But I definitely had so much fun going around town and finding fabrics. So, okay, this, I forget how I had it. Did I have it this way? Did I have it this way? I guess it doesn't matter. Like this? Like this? Okay. So, one needs to be facing to the left, one seam, and the other seam needs to be facing to the right. Okay, there we go. And I'm not sure that I want these two together. Can I move them? Let me just see. No, can't move them. No, okay, so it's just gonna be like that. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Okay, I guess wouldn't want the peach and the pink together anyways. All right, so I'm gonna add a pin right here in this intersection. And just to make sure it's all matched up. So fabric shopping was a lot of fun. I did buy some cross-stitch floss, and we are very lucky over here that we can buy cross-stitch floss for like 10 cents, 25 cents, because over there, the floss that I bought was $3 each. And from what I could tell, it was made by Clark's, but there was like a sub company. So it was like Anchor or something else. The lady said that they were made in Brazil. I don't know if that was true or not, but there was not really a difference in quality of floss. It's still good floss. So I think I bought like 4 different ones that I could finish my son's cross stitch piece, which turned out fabulous, and I really did need it, so it was okay. But yeah, we're pretty lucky to have affordable price craft supplies here. The craft supplies there are imported because people don't do a whole lot of crafts like we do here. All right, so this is looking adorable. Oh my gosh. Let's get this pressed, and then we'll take a close look at it. And here is the block all pressed. My seams are organized. It is the very last seam here that needs to be pressed open. It feels really good in the center, nice and flat. You don't have to worry about these points bunching up seam-wise to something else, because there's going to be sashing around every single one of these blocks. And you will need to make 25 total, which I promise you will go by much faster than the previous quilt in this book. So we'll get it done, okay? We will. And I just want to say, thank you for coming back and watching my videos. If you like my content, please share my videos with others, comment below, and give me a thumbs up. And here are some pictures.